You want me to do it? He can do it. He's holding it.
This is what we call our 4-gas meter. This measures carbon monoxide in a building and a couple other gases. We use it mainly carbon monoxide when we have furnace issues, anything like that. Anytime your carbon monoxide alarm goes off in your house, this is a tool we utilize. And it gives us parts per million. And obviously you want a real low reading. If this thing goes into alarm mode, hopefully, ideally by then, once your meter goes off in your house, we're wanting everybody out of that house. But this is the tool that we use when we come in to check that house.
And the way we're going to use it tonight is to show the exhaust from
The diesel exhaust.
from the
How-
28-year-old
Yes, the 28-year-old engine 3.
engine 3. Okay.
Anything above 35, tell them that that's when
It alarms.
We get close to that.
Exactly, it'll start going nuts. It'll set a tone off.
Okay. So we're measuring the air quality in the station for the safety
As
of
well,
the
yeah.
firefighters
That's
as well.
exactly what
Okay.
we're doing.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have, what is your name?
My name is Alan.
Alan's going to hold the meter, and David Knowles is going to start the truck
Start
up
the engine
then
and pull it
drive
up.
it out of the garage. And we're going to keep an eye on the meter so that we can see what the truck
Exactly.
causes
You'll-
in the air
Every
quality.
time,
in the-
it starts.
in the
how
You'll
it's-
see the readings start going up.
Okay, great. So you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So where are we going to go?
You're gonna come around to, I'll stand right here with it, and then you
Okay.
can you see the screen?
Yep. Actually, can you tip it just away from the truck because there's glare from the truck? There we go.
I can't see it. There it goes. That tells you that's bad right there. And we don't even have the truck out of the station yet. Yeah, it's very, very bad. So it's starting to go down now. I just seen it at a 19.
Yeah.
It went immediately, almost.
And in warmer weather, or if it's more humid, that probably hangs around a lot more, right? Like we just had a blast
Oh, yeah.
of really cold air come in and kind of blow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
the
'cause
building.
it's already almost back down
Yeah.
to 5 parts per million.
Yeah. But it got up over 40. I mean, it was in the mid 40s.
Yeah.
And the alarm on this particular device alarms at 35. Now, if you have 35 parts per million in your house, that's the kind of thing that they start worrying about as far as maybe take you to the hospital, get you
Yeah.
checked out. And,
Yeah.
and we get that every time we run the fire truck
Okay.
out of here. We fill the fire station with that.
Yep. All right.
You
Good.
can, you can look at the ceilings and you can see.
Oh yeah, back up in the corner.
Even more so on the
Yeah.
other side.
And that's all from the exhaust.
Yes. And that's all your cancer causing chemicals.
Yeah.
I couldn't see it because I'm trying to look at it from the back side.
Hey, we're not close to 49. So, do you want to bring it back in, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the other issues that it has? Okay, cool. I'll film it backing in because it's so pretty.
Chairman still?
Yeah,
Can I say something?
absolutely.
When it comes to the CO and the exhaust gases that the fire engine puts out, there are ways to mitigate some of that problems. One way is to have a system which is called a Plimo vent, which is a system that you can hook to the exhaust pipe on the fire truck, which will automatically turn on when the fire truck is turned on and start to move out, and it exhausts all those products of combustion to the outside of the building, so it doesn't end up in the fire station. But most of those run anywhere between $65,000 and $100,000 for that type of system. So obviously that's a little bit out of the price range for what the community's going to do. Newer, modern, up-to-date fire apparatus has newer systems which are called regeneration systems, so that as the truck is turned on and it starts to produce those type of exhaust gases, they're collected and reburned before they're distributed out, so the products of combustion are extremely lower compared to these older type fire trucks.
Yep. Yep. What other issues does the truck have? What are some of the other things that we're going to remedy by replacing this truck?
Okay, some of the other things, I know some of the talk in the community, the thing that initiated with the fire truck moving up to be replaced is it had a transmission issue. It developed a leak. They had the leak repaired, but our repair facility told us that this is a one and done kind of thing because the transmission is no longer used in this type of equipment. It's old and they don't even make the parts for it anymore. So that kind of predicated the fact that we needed to move the truck up sooner. Some of the other systems on the truck that are old and outdated is, can we walk over here by the pump
Yep.
panel? This is the pump panel on the fire truck. This is where water comes in from a fire hydrant, goes through all those different distribution points and is put back out for the hand lines that we'll use for suppression mode. The pump on this fire truck is rated at 1,000 GPM, gallons per minute. That again is an old, outdated system because most fire trucks nowadays are equipped with 1,500 GPM pumps. And what that means is the water that comes in gets distributed and thrown back out. The hose we carry on the fire truck nowadays, and some we have to work on, is a 5-inch hose, which carries 2,000 gallons of water through that hose. This pump can't even move the amount of water that comes in. So it's already deficient. We're already behind the 8 ball on what the truck can deliver. And the reason why we need that to work optimally is the fact that that is for the protection of the firefighters on the end of the hose line as they enter a burning building. We need all that we can get in that mode. One other thing down here that is become old on our fire truck is, go ahead Dave, you can take it from here. Tell about new generators to this one.
So this is the generator that came with the truck. This is, again, a 1989 generator. We literally have to come over here at a call, at a car accident of some sort. You have to turn the gas on, have to choke it, and turn the key to start it up. That's if it starts 90% of the time. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. With the new engines, they have a built-in generator inside the cab or inside the hose tower or something like that. One button starts right up. You got the electrical cords in a reel right here. Pull the electrical reel cord. You can run lights and have everything set up with one person. To do lights for this engine, you need at least 2 to 3 people dedicated to set the lights up. These lights are all stationary, will not move off the engine.
Very limited in what they can light up also. So a newer generator allows you to have better efficiency and better use of your manpower. And in our fire department, manpower is at a premium. If we have to use 2 or 3 people to get lighting set up, instead of somebody cutting that time down by 90% in a new modern phase, we need the people doing other things. And unfortunately with this, we're tied up with that need.
And if that antique generator were not to start, you wouldn't have lights on a scene.
That's
With this
correct.
piece of apparatus, we would not have lights.
Yeah.
And the other thing that nowadays is this generator is in here and it's mounted and it stays put. The newer one is up out of the way, so now you're also gaining space to carry more needed equipment on the fire truck.
Nice.
We don't have to carry out back. There's fuel cans and whatnot, different mixtures that we need to carry that just takes up space. And space is at a premium with the stuff that you need to carry on a fire truck. This would free us up one spot,
Yeah.
which is much more manageable.
Yep. And just like I did up there, that's as high as the light tower will go for us. The new engine will have a light tower that sits in the bed. Again, the driver operator has a remote, goes up, you can aim it any way you want, and it's perfect for any kind of scene. Again, connected to that generator, one button push, everything's up and running, we have lights. So this is, again, all these are 89 as well. Came with the truck when they bought it.
Wow.
I opened the back cabinet up. So if you wanted to
See
take a look.
again, cabinetry, we need to carry other fuel cans and whatnot just to make that generator work. But if we can free up this space, you can see how cramped this is, allows us to put more on and to make it more
So
efficient.
everything in that area is to accommodate the fact that you're using that
A
generator?
lot of the stuff, yes,
Yeah.
the fuels and things right here are all tied in with that
Yeah.
generator use. And one other thing about the fire truck is this being a 1988 fire truck, the power, the engine, the power plant on board the truck is a 325 horsepower engine. And this truck, if we're going to an intersection and we need to get through it in a hurry, the truck almost doesn't get out of its own way. If we're pulling out, say, Roberts Road, Bear Road on the Route 4, we need a whole bunch of clearance because the truck takes a long time to get up to speed. The RPMs are so slow. Newer modern equipment is minimum of 450 horsepower on a diesel engine, so the truck has more power and it gets out of its way and is much more efficient to where it goes. Sometimes with this truck, it's like we need that extra space just to make sure we get out into traffic. So it's not only the fact that initially it was the transmission which was our issue. It's old, it's underpowered, the engine is tired. The lighting package, the generator is something else that needs to be updated. So it's the whole systems on this truck that are just old, and the pump. The thing with the pump, as I described earlier, it's a 1,000 GPM pump. Every year on a fire truck, a pump has to be annually tested. It has to meet a certain parameter. We get those every year in order for the truck to stay in service. I can get the records on this fire truck over the last 5 years have shown where that space that you have for it fitting into is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So we're getting to the point where the pump itself will not pass its certification. So that would mean repairs to the pump or replacement. Replacing a pump in a truck to this age, if they even have these anymore, because we never researched that, is upwards of $50,000 for a pump unit itself. So if we put all these pieces together, that's one reason why it's 30-year-old fire trucks just do not run first due in anybody's community anymore.
So what is the typical lifespan of a truck like this? Like what would it have been done typically in a you know, if you took an average of communities that ran trucks like this? 20 years, 25 years?
Yeah,
What's
the average time, usually what happens in most communities, they'll have a capital improvement program where they plan long-term for these large purchases. This community in the past has failed to manage some of those needs. So it's a big ouch when it comes to this much money in such a short time. Typically what a community will do is salt money away every year. And at the 15-year mark, you start looking at replacement and start reaching out to find out what your needs are. At 20 years, that is basically the bottom line, see you later, goodbye on a life service of a fire truck. At least running front line like this one does. We could still use this fire truck, but we'd put it in the other bay and use it as a backup in case one's out of town or one's broken down for service, we could use it. But the way we're using this now at 30 years old, it doesn't
Well,
happen.
and I mean, I asked you because I think it's an amazing testament to the care and effort that you've made to take care of it, that it lasted significantly longer than would be typically expected in the
Right.
community. And I think it's important for people in our town to know that we have a lot of really responsible people taking care of these huge,
Yeah.
expensive pieces of equipment.
And
And
they
that's
are.
certainly a piece we don't have to worry about.
Well, one thing, when Chief Spinney was here, he asked to have the truck replaced at 20 years. And the town did not want to do that. The town decided to refurb the truck. And what it needed back then, it was so rusted out along a lot of the wheel wells and along the chassis, it would not pass inspection. So the town, rather than replacing the truck, put $70,000 into it to fix that portion of the truck so it would pass inspection. They upgraded some lighting systems. They put these chevrons and safety systems on the truck so they could buy more time for it. But if they had taken, and then back then, if you replaced the fire engine, it probably would have cost about $325,000. Now we're 8 years down the road, 70,000 put in, that's now at the end of that life. And that 325 is now a minimum of $450,000 to $500,000 for the fire truck. So that's why waiting sometimes just is not the way to go with these kind of things.
I also heard that is this bond coming from, or the warrant for this truck coming from the USDA?
That's one of the options
One of
that the
the
select board is looking
yeah.
to for financing on the fire
Okay.
truck. They're trying to go through USDA because they can get better interest rates.
Right.
But one thing we've also done is we've gone through the state, we're really close to procuring a grant
Okay.
for, under the EPA, that would cover 1/4 of the cost of replacement for the fire truck, because they want to get these old exhaust producing trucks off the road.
Yep.
So we are in line, we're right there to get that one, so that would help defer some of the costs.
Yeah,
of the
what
fire
I
truck
heard was
also.
that one of those agencies, actually, the truck was no longer on their list. They had to find a special inventory to identify a truck of this age, because the grantees they're working with, who are looking for money to support their new trucks, have newer trucks.
Have newer
And
trucks
this is
long
the oldest
before
truck
this
they'd
one.
heard of in a long, long time,
Yeah.
and so they had to look for special, identification for the truck, because it's no longer on their list, on their inventories.
Exactly.
Is
Just
that-
goes
is that
to sh-
correct? I mean, I heard
That is
that,
true.
so, yeah.
I've heard that same thing, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what we're dealing with. Again, that 30-year mark is just something that just does not happen.
Yeah.
20 years is usually your cutoff. And it's not so much, you crawl inside the cab of the truck, and it's only got like 28,000 miles on the odometer. That's not how fire trucks or any of these kind of trucks work. It's not mileage, it's hours. We can drive this truck 5 miles down the road to an incident someplace, and it can sit there and be idling
Idling.
and pumping for 6, 7, 8, 10 hours. So it's the hours that add up instead of the miles.
Right.
And that's where this truck is even way over some of those
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, it's not like you're driving it to Seattle.
Nope.
Yeah.
No,
Got
doesn't
it.
do that.
Good. Anything else you guys want to share or say?
Is there anything else we did not cover?
Want to talk about the seats and how.
Do you want to
seat
talk
belts-
about seats? You go right ahead.
Seat
Take her
belts.
over there and show her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, go right ahead.
Passenger safety?
Yeah, all the new ones need
So this is one of our recent 2001 engines. Your seatbelts. Are here. You got a whole chair. Well, you got separate chairs for everything,
Yep.
for each person.
It's like a
When-
bucket seat with its own
Bucket seat
safety.
with your
Yep.
own
Okay.
safety. With this truck, don't really have bucket seats. Your engine sits right here, and you got seat belts that sometimes work, sometimes don't, and you jam more people in here uncomfortably.
Yeah.
So,
How
this
many
is
people would, if you were headed
fully
out for...
turned out gear? You fit 3 in there, nice, comfortable.
Yep.
And these have 4. This one has 4 seats. It's really kind of packed, fully
Yeah.
turned out gear.
Yep.
Not as much. We can probably get 2, maybe 3 in here.
Yep.
Which cuts back on the number of people that
That you can send. Yep.
send to operate the scene. For this, the catwalk, get your batteries. For me, this would be a slipping hazard.
Yep.
Or even, say it's snowing and you have to get to the battery. Can't really get in it.
Right.
So-
Yep. And that's all, the design of everything
All
on a
the
newer
design
truck,
of how the
all
truck
of those
was,
things have
yep.
been modified many times to a much higher
Right.
level of functionality for what you need.
30
it for.
years of
Sure.
enhancing the truck.
Yep, yep,
You can
yep.
obviously see that 2001 to
Right.
1989, there's
Yeah,
major differences
Big differences. Yep,
between these two.
excellent.
I think I'm all set with it, and he's all set. too.
Great, okay, good. Awesome. Your last word, sir?
My last words is it's time. It's time to move forward and get us, and not only on the fire truck as far as you think, oh, it's just a fire truck, we can keep doing that. In this fire department, we are very manpower dependent. And if you continue, this truck is labor intensive for people to use it. It's hard to, 1, recruit people that may want to join the fire service, and 2, retain people that may want to stay here. When we go to all our neighboring communities and everybody has newer, updated, more user-friendly equipment, and we have to get on a 30-year-old piece of equipment, they're gonna go, why do I want to go over there? I'll go to someplace else that's gonna have
Yeah.
better stuff and treat me better than this thing does.
Yeah.
So it's not only just the truck, it's just the manpower and the usage of it, so we can keep people here, so we can do what our job is. It's hard enough to get people to come in anyway.
Yeah.
And anybody that wants to do this kind of work, they're not out there anymore.
Yeah.
So it's moving forward, showing that the town cares about their firefighters, their employees and whatnot, by giving them the needed equipment.
Well,
It's
and the
gonna be
people
a
that
big
live here
boost.
whose houses might burn down, we'd be kind of happy too to have a truck that
Well,
can actually make it to
that
our
might,
house.
That might show up, because that's always been an intention with us too. I mean, we
Yeah.
check kind of thing every day to make sure it's not leaking like it did when
Yeah.
we first had a problem.
Yeah.
And we want to get the truck there too.
Awesome.
So that's what this is all about.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for doing it. Do we look like a
Thanks.
bunch of dopes?
I hope so.
So is that whole thing